Now I would like to invite our special guest, Shri Armugam Parsuraman. Shri Armugam Parsuraman is the former Minister of Education, Arts, Culture and Science of Mauritius. He has also served as a senior advisor at the World Bank in Washington, D.C. and held the esteemed position of Director of UNESCO in Paris, Senegal and India. Dr. Parsuraman's deep faith and gratitude for life's blessings have driven him to serve humanity. He founded the Global Rainbow Foundation, focusing on helping marginalized individuals. He is also the founder-president of the University of Third Age Mauritius and the International Tirukural Foundation. Additionally, he has been an ambassador for the Rise and Shine European Union campaign and has been nominated as the regional representative for Africa at the Commonwealth of Learning Board of Governors. Over to you, sir.
My respect to Sadhguru, Sri Mata Amritamananda Mai Devi, C20 Chair, the Chief Guest, Sri V. Muralidharan, Minister of State for External Affairs, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, MP, former Under Secretary, UN, Dr. Luis Cláudio Costa, former Vice Minister of Education, Brazil, Swami Amrita Swarupananda Puri, C20 Troika, distinguished members of the civil society, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. From the bottom of my heart, ladies and gentlemen, I thank the organizers of the Education and Digital Transformation Working Group Summit for inviting me to address this distinguished assembly. I feel both honored and humbled. At the outset, I wish to commend Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Government of India for entrusting to the spiritual leader, Mata Amritananda Mai Devi, the chair of Civil 20 or C20, an official engagement group of the G20. We are all aware of the great work that is being done in Amrita University with its lead role in the C20. I'm sure everyone in the country acknowledges Amma's exemplary leadership among civil society in the noble mission of service to humanity. Sri Kailas Satyarthi, Nobel Peace Laureate, has pointed out that this is the first time that C20 is driven by the core values of spirituality. He said, I quote, "This spirituality does not mean any religion. It is a driving force of the soul of universal humanity." And he continues, "When you feel the suffering of others as your own suffering, with a deeper drive to alleviate the suffering, then you are compassionate," end of quote. This is precisely Amma's mission and should guide our global mission in the realization of all the SDGs. The theme chosen for the C20 Working Group Summit, Education and Digital Transformation, and its sub-themes are all very relevant. But there's one theme that is particularly close to my heart, namely education for persons with disability. The C20 Working Group policy recommendations will consider global challenges, funding implications, and measuring the translation to policy change and outcomes at the global and country level, could well provide useful inputs for a global action plan with a well-defined implementation strategy for endorsement by G20 Summit and other global funding agencies. This could also be the key to unlock potentials and dedicate and empower and leave no one behind. I therefore take this opportunity to make a special appeal for the more than 1 billion people worldwide, including an estimated 800 million in developing countries who experience some form of disability, according to the World Report on Disability by the World Bank and WHO. Persons with disabilities face stigma, discrimination, and exclusion from accessing jobs and services, and they consistently fall behind their non-disabled peers in development gains. It is not enough to describe them as differently able, and so on. The time has come to do something for them. I appeal to every one of you to think seriously about this and suggest the way forward. I commend the World Bank for its 10 commitments, which build on the World Bank's group ongoing efforts to respond to the urgent need for accelerated action to achieve disability-inclusive development in support of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This is a unique opportunity for C20 to engage with World Bank representatives to formulate policy recommendations on the sub-theme Education for Persons with Disability. It is common knowledge that most persons with disabilities are taken care of by civil society organizations rather than governmental agencies. In this context, another statement by Kailash Satyarthi comes to mind, and I quote, "When I call you the leaders of civil society, you represent the voice of the voiceless people of the world. You represent the faces of the most invisible people of the world. You are the custodians of the collective conscience of all very ordinary people on this earth. You are the purpose of democracy," end of quote. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, being a Mauritian of Indian origin, and proudly so, I wish to conclude with a reference to Ammar's statement at a recent C20 event. I quote, "From ancient times, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, has been the mantra of Indian soil. It still is today and will continue to be so in the future. The presidency of G20 nations is a unique opportunity to model this truth before the world," end of quote. Let us pray for a very successful outcome of the G20 Summit 2023 and India's stewardship. I wish C20 Education and Digital Transformation Summit all success in its deliberation during the 2 days meeting. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.